what we are doing in China, we have a small team based in Beijing, and we promote European and international standards in China, improve contacts between project partners and different levels of the Chinese administration, industry, and standardization bodies. We also enhance visibility and understanding of the European standardization systems in China to promote European standardization systems and new legislation framework, gather regulatory and standardization intelligence. For example, today's webinar is to improve the understanding of European standardization systems and also to distribute the standardization informations about China. We also undertake technical lobbies if it is necessary or requested by the SESEC partners or by the European industries. So our ultimate goal is to support Commission's policy and ESO's strategic objectives in China, support enhance the cooperation on standardization, and to also support the cooperation memorandum of understanding agreement between the European standardization organizations and China SESEC. We have very limited resources and we have a small team, so we have to have priorities for our project. So the priorities are confirmed by the 5 European partners: SESEC, ELEC, SE, European Commission, and EFTA Secretariat related to standardization. So horizontally, we sort of observe the China Standards 2035, China Standardization Strategy. We work on the Belt and Road initiatives. We observe standardization reform. We also observe or report some institutional changes in the Chinese government related to standardization. And also, we observe the market access like CCC, energy efficiency, China roads, and now carbon deduction. We also have sector priorities like vertical digital transition, like IT in general, data, artificial intelligence, quantum, industry, IoT, 5G, and 6G. We also focus on the prioritize the green transition standardization activities in China. For example, energy efficiency, China roads, Green Product Association, decarbonization, new energy, and recycling. And today's webinar is for check the China decarbonization standardization landscape and policy, focus on product carbon footprint policy. So, and we have very good distribution channel platform. First, we have our English webinar. All the information, including today's webinar, can be checked or can be downloaded on our website. So this is www.sesec.eu. And if you see, for example, the resources, you can get all the newsletters, all the reports, all the presentations, and also the webinar information. I saw we have some raising hands. Unfortunately, I cannot make you speak now, because now we have 80 something participants. So if you raise your hand, you can put your questions on the Q&A panel again and ask questions. Unfortunately, I cannot answer all the questions during the presentation, so I will answer all the questions at the end of the webinar. So this is again. And also we have another very important deliverables, which is the SESEC China Standardization newsletter. So this is the sample of July and August. We publish every 2 months, so you can download it or you can send us email register for the newsletters. So usually we have about 38 to 50 pages about China standardization information in English. This is all the reflection of the priority areas what happened in China's standardization with some SESEC observations and analysis. So that's the introduction for SESEC project. Now we focus on today's topic, which is China carbon footprint standardization and certification. I didn't say and also policy. So basically cover all the policies, regulations, certification, and standardization of China carbon footprint information. So today's contents table are listed here. We have China product carbon footprint policy landscape, China PCF certification pilot program, what has been will be certified in the future for the carbon footprint production, and also China's product carbon footprint standardization progress. Number 4, I will make a case studies, make a comparison between China and the EU on the EV batteries. Number 5 will be some summaries and outlook. The very first one, part 1, China product carbon footprint policy landscape. In China, the carbon reduction become a great priority because China made the commitment of carbon peak in 2030 and carbon neutral in 2060. So the China Central Party and the State Council prioritize the carbon footprint management, and they have seen that climate change is unavoidable, progress, and we need to do something to reduce the carbon emission. Plus future some other gas, green gas issues. So from number 1, there are very clear mandates from the highest level, the State Council and the CPC government level. So, for example, the very first one, the very recent one, 2025, the China government working report, and 2024 Central Economic Work Conference, they all specifically see that the product carbon footprint management system should be set up. This is mandated by the government high level. And the 15th five-year plan, which is published just in March 2026, proposed to improve PCF policies and develop PCF accounting standards. So this is maybe very short sentences in the 5 years plan, but it will make the implementation institutions and government ministries many efforts on making the PCF accounting standards and PCF management system. And in the second level, there are top level design with some practical or operationable guidelines or methodologies. So the 2 documents, for example, decision of CPC Central Committee on further deepen reform and advancing Chinese modernization, it mentions that the carbon product system is a key component of ecological civilization reform. The 2024 August opening on accelerating the comprehensive green transition of economic and social development also mentioned that carbon footprint into the supply, consumption standards, and mutual recognition. Again, 2024 August, work plan for accelerating the establishment of a carbon emission dual control system. So it is state council documents says it will accelerate carbon footprint work with clarified or specific tasks. So the carbon control is the goal, and carbon footprint is a tool to first facilitate or supporting the carbon neutrality goal in 2060. And even for in number 3, it is a 1+N policy system. So in carbon footprint requirements or the systems, they have a horizontal guidelines and frameworks and certifications. So this is 1. And N is for the different sectors. There could be N 1, 2, 3, 4 sectors. They will have specific carbon footprint standardization or carbon footprint certification or verification or audition systems. So basically, it is specifically very clearly explained in working guidance for carbon dioxide peak and carbon neutrality in full and faithful implementation of the new development philosophy. So it is published in October 2021, but it has the 1+N systems clearly explained in that system. So basically, horizontally, State Council or the ministries will sit together, make a horizontal mechanism design, and then each sectors will have their own carbon policies or standardizations. Second, in 2021 to 2022, the carbon footprints are basically introduced into the system. So this is a concept introduction stage. So we checked the document before 2021. Carbon footprint was barely presented, but later when China determined to make the carbon peak in 2030 and the carbon neutrality in 2060, carbon footprint become a very important components and a very important supporting tools. So the documents are listed here. October 2021, August 2022, the information has been used. So so I saw some of the questions on the chat panel, but I will answer the questions later. So this is the two 2021 and 2022 documents listed here. So you can see the concept carbon footprint accounting and product carbon footprint are officially or introduced in this year. However, China develops very quick policies on the regulations and on the other actions. So from 2023 to 2024, the system of carbon reduction and carbon footprint has been constructed. So we saw the most policies intensively policies roll out, like 3 tracks, including. So basically, China believes that management, so regulation, management system, standards, and certification are 3 tracks to make the carbon footprint systems in China. So here is a landmark policies, the dates and key points. Basically, for example, the management first dedicated carbon footprint policy is published in November 2023. And the May 2024, it made the implementation plan for establishing a carbon footprint management systems. So the target are quite clear. By 2027, 2 years from now, there will be 100 product carbon footprint accounting standards published. It will set up the carbon footprint factor database in China and label systems and certification systems, and in the future, just like the European battery regulation, China for the carbon footprint systems, that will be the tiered or the ranking systems in the future. For example, level 1 or level 2 or level 3. So basically, based on the carbon footprint number, it will have different levels. In the future, there will be the label And even for the future, there will be the market access requirements. If you cannot reach the carbon footprint requirements, you cannot enter the Chinese market. And standards in 2024 August, there is a very specific documents action plan for further strengthening construction of the standard measurement system for achieving carbon dioxide packing and carbon peaking and carbon neutrality. So this is 2024 and 2025 documents specifically say in which area which standards need to be done. So it will accelerate the development of PCF standards, and also these 100 standards will have the specific area, for example, steel, chemical, e-vehicle, battery. So most of the 100 standards, you can find the name and also specific list here in this document. And in September 2024, the very general and horizontal standards GBT 24067 has been published. It is a general rule for the carbon for the product carbon footprint. It is a modified adoption of ISO 14067. So basically, this is can be regarded as a general requirements, as a horizontal standards for all the sector implementation for the carbon footprint standards. And in December 2024, the guideline for developing product carbon footprint accounting standards specific see the standards system and process. And certification for the carbon footprint label and certification pilot program was introduced in September 2024 as well. I will discuss all this information in the following slides one by one. So in the 2025 and 2026 is a very critical breakthrough period. China believes that the actual implementation and actual standards, a lot of standards being published, certification published, and also the system carbon footprint management system of China products will be finally established during this period of time. So we can see there are two milestones. First, China and EU are long-termly discussing or negotiating the electricity carbon footprint factors. The calculations are quite different, but China in January 2025, first ever official release of 2023 electricity carbon footprint factors. It is jointly published by three ministries, so it's 0.6205 kg CO2 per k-hour. So this is a national average factor, give the reference for all the carbon footprint calculation in China system. It is quite different from what we have from GIC or from European database on the electricity carbon footprint factors. In October 2021, the second annual release, the 2024 electricity carbon footprint factors are published here. We can see that from 2023 to 2024, there's a big drop of 6.9% decrease in 1 year, and it reflecting the China's rapid energy transition from the carbon from fossil carbon electricity generation to like a photovoltaic, like water, like clean energy, and wind energy. So this is a big energy transition from China. Milestone 2 is PCF of EV traction battery reporting launch. This is the very first one in December 2025. China published notice on carrying out carbon footprint reporting for automotive tracking batteries, basically EV battery. It is similar with European battery regulations, EV category, EV battery category. And the pilot phase is started from December 2025 to December 2026, this year, especially this year, and will be mandatory reporting from January 1st, 2027. So after the 1 year pilot or transition period, there will be the mandatory reporting in January 1st, 2027. To be honest, the battery enterprises or companies are all basically, most of them are Chinese companies. So they need to fulfill the requirements of here. But basically, if they want to exporting their products to Europe, they also need to fulfill the European battery regulations. So there's a big discussion whether this system will finally follow the European scheme, or there will be a China one and European one. So let us see what will happen in the next few months. So you can see that 2 milestones and application of PCF expanded. So to the government procurement, so you need to declare your carbon reduction or carbon footprint results, e-commerce platforms, and green finance, supply chain, and circular economy. So it is not just a pilot or the voluntary certification or the fulfillment of the green transition requirements. Is basically become government procurement requirements, and in the future some products will fulfill the market access requirements in China. And again, the policy a little bit carbon footprint policy comparison between the China and EU. So, for example, core objectives EU 2050, China 2030, and 2060, and policy approach. China in Europe, there will be mandatory regulations, battery regulation, CBOMs, ECPR. This is all put carbon footprint requirements into the regulation. But in China, it is still voluntary top-level designs combined with a pilot implementation. It is not cover all the products yet compared to European eco-design and sustainable product regulation. China will select some products to put the carbon footprint requirements into, but not as a market access requirements yet. For the compliance, the future CE marking requirements for all the European regulations, and also market access requirements in the future, and also, for example, batteries, there will be the carbon ranking systems and also market access requirements. And European ETS will give some price line for the carbon emissions. In China, currently voluntary certification currently, and China is a manufacturing power of the world, and most of the Chinese new products, like 3 new products like e-vehicle battery and photovoltaic system, are targeted for exporting from China to the overseas, especially to Europe or to other countries. So China still hope that there will be a one audit or one verification, 2 certifications or mutual recognition between China and EU to fulfill the European requirements for market access, because China's certification system is voluntary at this moment. So most of the manufacturers, if they wish to enter European market, they still need to fulfill European carbon footprint requirements or calculation methodologies. So this is a policy. And second, let us talk about the product carbon footprint certification systems in China. So this is currently a pilot program in China. So it happens in September 2024. So the 11K products, September 2024, 11K products categories will have the product carbon footprint labeling. So including the batteries, lithium batteries, PV products, and steel. So this is nominated or selected by SESEC, by China National Certification and Accreditation Commission. So they have already selected the certification bodies in September 2024. So in January 2025, 26 certification bodies selected for the pilot. The 26, including CQC, include state-owned, some private, and also one of them are foreign invested. That is DKR DECRE. So it is a German certification body. So it is designated or certified or nominated by CNSA, so they can do the China carbon footprint labeling system. And 25 provinces and they are located in different areas and different cities. March 2025, the label has been released by SESEC. So SESEC issued general implementation rules for PCF labeling and certification and China carbon footprint label. So the label is here. So basically it has the QR code. In the future, now it is just a QR code with the certification bodies and also the carbon footprint numbers or results, the manufacturer's information, and also some other like auditing reports or some documents will be linked to this QR code. But in the future, it could be China product digital passport. So, but now because China do not have the scheme yet, so the China labeling, China carbon footprint labeling only give a QR code, and in the future, the database and the platform will be set up. All the information will be installed there. And June 2025, the 17 products are announced to used as a catalog for the 17, not compared to 11 in September 2024 and June it is expanded to 17. And in September 2025, this 17 certification rules has been published by the SMR, MEE, and MIT. So until now, the 17 product certification rules and systems and standards are basically a preliminary setup, and it will be implemented after the transition period. So this is how China are doing the product carbon footprint certifications, the certification process. So basically, it is initial inspections plus carbon footprint verification plus market surveillance. So first application, so you need to apply with a certified body, accepted by them, and make the certification planning, like what kind of information you need, how to calculate and also what kind of documents you need. So number 4 is document review. So certification body will review the submitted documents and require the corrective actions if necessary. So audition, inspection, verification are the key certification methodology. So number 5 is on-site inspection. So the certification will go there to check the management systems and to make sure that the declared carbon footprint number or the calculation methodology or the supply chain consistent with your product. So the product consistency inspection cover all certification units and verification. So the verification is based on the GBT 24067 modified adoption of ISO 14067. So life cycle assessment systems and also the corresponding technology standards so basically it is a report or the document related. So you have to do a lot of paperwork and also the to ask your supply chain give you the upper stream supply chain to give you the correct and acceptable documents or calculations of the carbon footprint. And 7 is after all the process being made, the approval can be made, and then the certified body or the will do the regular follow-up inspections and verifications. So basically, it is similar like any other voluntary carbon footprint systems. It asks a lot of requirements for the supply chains, for the components. So you have to talk with the first level supply chain supplier, second level, so all need to be covered by the whole system. And the products, what kind of products need to do the PCF certification and need to have the labeling in the future. I listed all this here. For example, lithium batteries, like the photovoltaic products, like steel, like textile products, like electrical appliances like room air conditioner as the first one, and also the computers, laptops, motors, tires, the aluminums, the cements, and also wood products like artificial woods and wood floors. So in one word, most of the products are also covered by the European carbon footprint pilot projects or CBOM. The rationale behind is China want to make the first the carbon reduction in the carbon heavily used products or areas. Second is to support the exporting from China to overseas, especially to Europe. So basically, China follows Europe's steps. If European, for example, select textile as a digital passport or the carbon footprint systems, China will have that. Steel, cement are all covered by CBOM. So China also pick up this as the pilot project in their systems. And the certification rules and applied standards are listed here. For example, the consumer lithium-ion batteries, the standards are listed here. We can see there's a lot of standards, T/CQAE. T is association standards. It is not national standards. And SG is a sector standards. Why so? Why they did not use national standards? Because basically because of the national standards for carbon footprint of the products are not ready. So I guess in the future, some of the association standards or sector standards will be upgraded or become a national standard. So all the products listed in the previous slide, the certification though and the application standards are listed here. And the number is from CNCA CFP 001 to 10 to 20 to 17. So most of them are published in 2025. As a conclusion, most of the standards are sector standards and association standards. Only room air conditioners and electrolytic aluminum are using national standards. The principle of China standards application is that if there are national standards, they would use national standards. But if there's no national standards, the sector standards or the association standards could be used by the certification system. That is why association standards and sector standards are also very important, because in the future it will be referenced by the certification system and could become a market access requirements if they are upgraded to the national standards. That is the certification system. But now, besides these 17, as we mentioned, there will be 100 or 200 product carbon footprint standards, PCF standard. So let us check what is China's PCF standardization progress at this moment. First, the guideline. The guideline is what standards will be nominated in one of these 100. What is the rationale? What is the logic behind why they select the materials or select the products into the standardization process? So this is a document published in December 2024. The guiding document, the guidelines for development of product carbon footprint accounting standards. So it gives the guiding principle, like prioritize urgent needs, advance stability. So if there is urgent need for the carbon footprint, for example, they need to be prepared for CBAM, for carbon border adjustment systems mechanism of Europe. It will be selected. China will say that you need to do the carbon footprint system to fulfill the requirements. Or this is a very big emission factory, like chemical areas. You need to do that to reduce the carbon emission, to help the government fulfill their commitment of 2030 of 2030 carbon peak and 2060 carbon neutrality. And also the second is a double track approach, simultaneously development of standards for the production side and for the consumption side. The priority areas will be basic energy, like energy, raw materials, transportation, key foreign trade products for the EU requirements. So the national target is by 2027, 100 national standards will be published, and 200 national standards will be published by 2030. And it will have the international alignments, because China have the common agreement that most of the Chinese will be, exporting from China to overseas. So they need to promote domestic and international standards coordination and mutual recognition. And technical committees are horizontal one, SECTC 548, carbon management, and other sector technical standards. For example, the battery, there will be the battery technical committee, and CEMIT will have SEMI one, and steel will have sector steel standards. So this is a very important document. And what did they say? What did the document say? The document basically required every single carbon footprint standards need to have unified names. For example, the greenhouse gas products, this is the name, and the product name will be here. So for example, the steel is a greenhouse gases quantification method and requirements for carbon footprint of products, steel, chemical, air room air conditioner. So this is so you can see all the 100 and 200 national standards will have the unified names. And also they have second one, they have second rule, they have aligned with general standards. All technical contents must align with GBT 26067. And the accounting boundaries, the life cycle requirements is from cradle to grave for business to consumer, and business to business from cradle to gate. And the data requirements is of most important because the factors and data are quite important for the carbon footprint auditing or accounting. So there is a primary data mandatory for specific stages in the standards. And the secondary data could be from statistics or from literature or from estimates if there's no statistics or literature. Also with, but you have to make your resources noted. And the green certificates and power purchase agreements can be recognized by the system of the standards. So the factor data quality, like priorities, is a verified merit data if there is, and official data, or you can get it from industry experience. For example, transport 1 ton of cement or 1 ton of chemical materials from one places to another. What is the carbon emission? What carbon can be used? Or some literature, some research or academic resources can also be cited or referenced by the system. Or some, in the future, China will also set up the National Carbon Footprint Factor database. So you will use that data in the future. The standards GBT 24607, I don't see that here because it is modified. Adoption. The difference is this here. So there's no major changes, only editorial adjustments aligned with Chinese standardization system, like China, what should be said what. And the differences is only in the data use, and it has a greater flexibility in applications. So it is modified adoption with very, very, very little changes, so it can be used. So general simple product comparison between GBT, China standards, ISO standards, and European food product environmental factors. So the environmental footprint. So basically, I list all the simple comparison here, but the big difference is highlighted by blue. So this is a background data, how to use the China have open various databases. So you can use either literature, either academic, either database. You only need to declare your resources. But European environmental footprint, you have to use mandatory EF database published by GRC, and others are all listed here. I will distribute all these presentations later. And besides the general horizontal standards, each of the single technical committee will have their own, make the unified, the name unified carbon footprint standards. So for example, 34 technical committees and 6 industry associations will develop PCF national standards. It will reach 100 national standards by 2027 and 200 by 2060. So for example, the cars are TC114 automotives. The household electricities are in the SESEC TC46. We will have the 34 TC listed distribute later. And this is statistics about which standards has been published. So basically 94 are under development and 17 has been published. The 17 are for steel products, the luminance, electronic appliances, furniture, air conditioner. So basically these 17 are used for the certification. All the products are listed here for the reference. And in the future, more will come, basically 94 at this moment. And the other 96 are all listed with the petrochemical lead system, energy sector 8 power standards, new 3, China new 3, like e-vehicle, lithium-ion battery, PV products, the building materials, iron, steel, and the other like consumer, like home appliances, air conditioner, washing machine, a lot of other things. So let's see, this is the 96 under the under development, plus the 17 has been published, totally 110 something, which are basically to fulfill the target of 100 carbon footprint standards by 2027. And who, like I said, compare with EU CBAM coverage, basically all the products covered by CBAM, China also selected them into the 100 the carbon footprint systems and also certification systems. Now, the key takeaways, just a basic summary, like GBT 24067 is a general standards, and 17 published, 96 under development, and 100 standards 2027, and 4 CBAM coverage. In the future, there will have a broad industry coverage, like standards being published, and international alliance, the modified adoption of ISO 14067, and in the future, they will hope that the standards made by China could be upgraded in ISO and IEC level as international standards. The very little case study about e-vehicle battery, so we can see what is the differences. So basically, the very first one, declaration system for carbon footprint products is automotive track battery. It is published in December 31st, 2027. So basically, all the products with 2K watt hours will be need to declare your carbon footprint information. The transition period is in 2026, and the mandatory stage will be start from 1st January 2027. So they need to report the battery pack manufacturers, the truck battery pack importers, and road vehicle manufacturers assemble battery packs. So it will need register on the SESEC platform, report activity data, submit the measurements methodology, and use a standards. The standards and here is still not published, but it will be used in this days, and there will be have the third-party verification systems, and the standards is under review, will be published very soon. This is was said by TC 114, and it is the international standards relevance with international standards relevance, and also the product reference to a lot of other similar references, and it is similar. It is actually counterparts of European Commission's 2024 GRC draft on the battery regulation, the carbon footprint methodology. So as it is not finally published, the comparison cannot be made, but I guess 90% China will follow the GRC's requirements, because at this stage, most of the e-vehicle batteries are made in China and be exporting to Europe. So the strategy is to fulfill the trade or the exporting requirements. And also other like the comparison, for example, the European like electricity carbon footprint factor are the key issues between China and the EU, and also the total energy calculations with different methodology, and recycling accounting are also sort of different. This analysis is based on the comparison of the two drafts. So the two, EU and China, are all under drafting period. It is not finally confirmed, but it will be future used as the market requirements for the carbon footprint calculation. So the recommendation for European enterprises for EV, for battery, I have to say, not many European companies are producing batteries. So it is just some recommendation like understand the roles, adjust the green power strategy. In China, you have to fulfill China requirements, leverage the long life battery technology, prepare the recycling compliance, and prepare data early. So just for reference, because I hope that it could be helpful for the European battery industry in the future. Summaries for today. So basically, again, policy 1+N policy and GBT 24609, and certification is a PCF labeling will be used will be used in 2026, like 26 certification bodies, 17 products need the labeling, and also the sector comparison are also summarized here. And the trend, carbon footprint is still in the developing stage, so it is not finally confirmed. So definitely there will be expanding product scope. Remember we set 100 carbon footprint standards 2027 and 200 in 2030. So there will be 200 products included in the system. And the standards, accelerating standards development, no doubt, see 96 are under development. And China will continuously, sustainably improve the electricity carbon footprint factor. So this factor. But China's rationale is that at least we calculate that we did our best to reduce the number, so it will be the negotiation base in the future, and strong needs for EU-China coordination, because in the future, just like energy efficiency, carbon footprint will be the next factor for market requirements. In the previous time, is safety, health, environment. Safety requirements, environment is energy efficiency, roads, now carbon footprint. And also the carbon footprint shifting from compliance cost to a competitive tools for the future competition for between to do more in these areas. So that is all from my side, and now is a Q&A time. So this is my contact details. Let us see what will be the questions here. Meanwhile, you can put your questions here. So let us from the number 1. 1+N approach, how are sectors defined and which body defined standards in the sector? I think I have already answered the question. The sectors are defined by the guideline, like 100 areas. Each sector will be, say, for example, consumer products, like e-vehicle, like summit. So the urgent, the rationale has been discussed in the guideline of carbon footprint standardization or management system. So, and will China consider the battery regulation? Yes, China is thinking. See, when I talk about the case study, it is part like battery regulation. It is the battery carbon footprint declaration system being used. Second, is the IEC 63369-1 applicable? So far, the general standards is ISO GTC, ISO 24067. I need to check to see whether these standards are used for any certain products. So this question is in 2BD or 2BC. Like ISO 14067, also GBT 24067 is a broad standard with larger room of interpretation. Is the certification process following the general standard or the respective sector roles? Yes, they need to fulfill the respective sector roles. I have already listed the roles on each of the products. For example, the 17, I'll show the in the presentation here. So each of the certification for the products have their certification roles and applicable standards are listed here. If you can show the screen, it says that the standards are listed here. They have the unified standards reference GBT 24067. So horizontal standards and sector-specific standards. Next one. Can you please share selected textile share selecting textile for pilot? Is it because future CBOM scope or differentiated product for refashion funds? Basically, it is the textile, for example, is to counterpass or respond to future CBOM scope. textile is selected by Europe, and China put it into the carbon footprint certification and standardization systems as the response to that. Not the from the refashion France. It is a CBOM system. Another question, can you please share if there are plans for verification requirements and any accreditation mandates? It is also shown on this slide, if you can see. All the information for the rules you can check. For example, the battery, the photovoltaic modules, CNCA CFP 05 2025. So it is China-specific verification requirements and accreditation mandates. Can you please share about alignment with PCF data IPE? Sorry, I have to, what is IPE? I think the PCF data or the database, I made a comparison in my system already. So if it is a specific products, China, you can use the database offered by China, or you can reference the GRC database. Is a plan that these industry associations will also develop platform infrastructure or DPP to help industry communicate or share PCF data. For these 17 products, China have already set up the platform for the product carbon footprint labeling systems. The CI code, if you scan that, it will go directly either to the platform or to where acceptable links offered by the manufacturers. So it is really depends, but currently I believe most of them will be on the government offered free infrastructure, not DPP, but similar to DPP. What are the 34 technical committees that are developing sector standards? This, I just show the number here, but the 34 will be listed. Basically, depends on the products. So the products are air conditioner, there will be the air conditioner technical committee. So for example, this is some I will show the 34 technical committees for you. So basically, usually for example, the automotive SESEC 114 is for road vehicles. So it will be them to make the carbon footprint requirements for the vehicles. The TC 46 is household appliances products. They make standards for air conditioner, for refrigerator. They will also make the carbon footprint standards for air conditioner and for refrigerator in the future. Another one is the list of sectors where carbon footprint will be developed, available to review. We are trying, yes, we will make that, like the sectors. Actually, if you see these 100 standards, you will see. If you see the 100 standards, you will definitely see the sectors already. So we will, in the future, draft all the 94 standards developed. So you will see the sectors are selected for carbon footprint labeling. And how do these calculations relate to the digital passports and European standardization mandates on it? It is nothing to relate it to the DPP at this moment, because this is purely China national mandates. For DPP have no relevance to this one. This is purely China requirements. But I guess China probably will follow the general requirements of framework of DPP or the standardization mandates in Europe, because because China at this stage are still wish that their products can be exported to Europe. Was the voluntary certification scheme well received by Chinese manufacturers? No, not yet. As all the other manufacturers in the world, carbon footprint certification is purely cost. It's purely adding the cost to the manufacturers. The Chinese manufacturers only do that, only they need to do. And also because of the auditing or the supply chain are not very formed or regulated, it is very difficult for the Chinese manufacturers to get all the data from their suppliers. So they have to sort of draft a number for them, help them give us a number so we can fulfill the requirements. So this is how the application or the operation at this stage in China. China is the Chinese manufacturers are constructing the systems yet. Some of the battery manufacturers are doing this very well, but they still need to fix to deal with their suppliers. The suppliers is a big issue for all the manufacturers at this stage. Can slides be shared with participants after year? Yes, these slides will be shared and will also be uploaded to the website and can be downloaded with the recording, because the recording cannot be sent to the via email because it's too big, but we will give you the link so you can download from our website. IPC, EBC, okay, IPE NGO from China. Not to my awareness, not a government one. It could be one of the literature or could be one of the references. So the IPE or the database, the data factor could be used to the China carbon footprint calculation systems. Or the last one on my page on the Q&A is on a related note to data sharing options. Will these standards be connected to standards describing the content of digital data sets like data, metadata? I cannot answer immediately to that, but like data and metadata content. Can I answer your questions later? My feeling is that most of the standards could say that which standards database or data sets are you using. So they could give the reference. So, and I have to say these 100 standards or 17 standards being published, they are made by different technical committees, and different technical committees may have their different considerations. They may use that or may not. They may reference that, or they may say you have to use this. So it is really TC relevance, not unified practical or unified action from this moment at this stage. And this is the question. And let us see the chat, the chat box. In the green transition column, reusing or reusable packaging is missing, where it is contemplated in PPW. Oh, very thank you for that. I did not realize that we did not because in China, yeah, I will discuss with the European SESEC partners and to see whether we will add the this thing here on my priority list. this is this one, I guess. Yes, green transition. And second, hi, is it possible to send the recording after meeting? Yes, definitely. Not send, you have to download on our website because it's too big. Where can the draft standards be found? It is very difficult to find the draft standards because we are not a technical committee yet. We are not member of a technical committee. We only can have the draft when they publish for comments. So I will give you the notice if they are asking for comments. And also the draft is in Chinese language. You have to translate by AI or by yourself or get reference. Will these standards be mandatory for sectors in China or only voluntary? It depends. At this stage, they are all voluntary. But in the future, it could be referenced by the certification scheme or market access requirements. It will become mandatory, become a market access requirements. Thank you for the IP packet and found out whether it has been referenced by the standards yet. Do the standards allow for secondary emission factor data? Yes. So from database like, yes. I think I have mentioned that the secondary can be literature statistics, so it can be used. I will show you the standards like GB, like the standard like the standards for the Monday requirements icon. Yes, here. Yeah, on this slide, the secondary, yes, because it is in this it is aligned with 24067. So the secondary standards database can also be referenced or are required to use by the guideline here. Okay, no questions I see. And it is 15, it is 17:15. It is, I think, 11:15, 16 in Europe already. And thank you very much for joining us. I hope this could be the, information be helpful for you. Thank you again to join us. We will share all the information, slides and recording in next 2 weeks. If you have further questions, you can send us an email or send me or leave the message on our website. Okay, and other questions? No? No? Okay. Then I'm happily to ending the I'm happy to end this webinar, and I hope you guys have a lovely day and see you next time. Bye bye.